A billionaire pulled over in a storm to help a girl, only to discover she carried the one secret he spent 15 years searching for. And what happened next will shock you. The rain hits the windshield like bullets. Lightning splits the sky open, and for a moment, the flooded highway ahead lights up in blinding white. The wipers are useless. The road is disappearing under black water. But he doesn't slow down. He never does. Speed is control. Control is survival. And he's been surviving alone for 15 years. His hands grip the leather steering wheel. Expensive watch, tailored suit, a car worth more than most people's houses. From the outside, he has everything. But inside this car, in the silence between thunderclaps, there's nothing. No music, no phone calls, no one waiting for him at home. Just the hum of the engine and the storm trying to drown the world. Then he sees her, a figure, standing beside the road, soaked, shivering, completely still. He should keep driving. He always keeps driving. That's the rule. Mind your business. Stay in your lane. Billionaires don't stop for strangers on the side of the highway in the middle of a storm. But something about this moment feels wrong. Or maybe it feels right in a way he can't explain. His foot eases off the gas. The car slows. And before he can talk himself out of it, he pulls over. The passenger window rolls down. Rain sprays into the car. She's younger than he thought. Early 20s, maybe. Drenched. Her clothes cling to her like a second skin. Her hair is plastered to her face. But she's not moving, not waving for help. Just standing there like she's waiting for the storm to wash her away. Why are you out here alone? His voice cuts through the rain. She flinches, looks at him like he's the dangerous one. Her arms are wrapped around herself, but it's not doing anything to stop the shaking. I'm fine. Her voice is quiet, defensive, the kind of fine that means the exact opposite. You're not fine. Do you need a ride? She shakes her head too quickly, too rehearsed. My friend is coming. I'm just waiting. He's heard that lie before. Different words, same desperation. He leans closer to the window, studying her face. And that's when he feels it. That pull, like a hook in his chest. He's seen her before. But that's impossible. He's never met this girl in his life. Your friend's not coming. She looks away, jaw tight, embarrassed, angry, scared, all of it at once. You don't know that. I do, because if they were coming, you wouldn't still be standing in a flood. Silence, just the rain hammering the roof of the car. She's weighing her options. Trust a stranger or stay in the storm. Both are gambles, but at least one of them is warm. Get in the car. It's not a question this time. It's a command. The kind of voice that's used to being obeyed. But he softens it. Just enough. Please, before you get sick. She hesitates. Then, slowly, she opens the door and slides into the passenger seat. Water drips onto the leather. She doesn't apologize. Just sits there, staring straight ahead, arms still wrapped around herself. The door closes. The storm is muffled now. But the tension inside the car is louder than any thunder. He turns up the heat, adjusts the vents so they blow warm air in her direction. She doesn't thank him, doesn't look at him, just stares at her hands. Is your friend really coming? She's quiet for a long time, long enough that he thinks she won't answer. Then finally, she shakes her head. No, one word. But it cracks something open. Then where were you going? She swallows hard. Her voice is barely above a whisper. Nowhere. I was just waiting for the rain to stop. And then what? She doesn't answer, because there is no then what. There's just survival. 1 hour at a time, one night at a time. He's seen that look before, in the mirror, years ago. Before the money, before the empire. Back when he was the one standing in the rain. Do you have somewhere to go? She shakes her head again. Family? No. Friends? No. He should take her to a shelter. That's the logical thing. The safe thing. But logic doesn't explain why he stopped in the first place. And it doesn't explain why the thought of dropping her off somewhere and never seeing her again feels like losing something he didn't know he had. I live alone, he says, and the words surprise even him. Big house, too many rooms. You can stay there tonight, just until the storm passes. Her head snaps toward him, eyes wide, suspicious. Why would you do that? Good question. He doesn't have a good answer, just a feeling, a pull. A whisper in the back of his mind that says this moment matters, that she matters. Because no one should be alone in a storm. She studies his face, looking for lies, for danger, for the catch. But all she sees is exhaustion, the kind that comes from carrying too much weight for too long. Okay, she whispers, just for tonight. He nods, puts the car in drive. And as they pull back onto the highway, he doesn't know it yet, but everything just changed. The life he built on silence and control is about to crack wide open. Because 15 years ago, he lost everything in a car crash just like this one. A crash that killed his wife, his son, and left one survivor. A child he never found. A child the hospital said disappeared before anyone could identify them. For 15 years, he's searched, hired investigators, checked records, followed dead ends. And for 15 years, he's been haunted by the same question. What if they're still out there? He glances at the girl in the passenger seat. She's stopped shaking. The heat is working. Her eyes are closing, exhausted, vulnerable, and that pull in his chest tightens, because there's something about her, something he can't name, something that feels like an echo of a voice he used to know. He shakes the thought away. It's just grief playing tricks. It always does. This girl is a stranger. Nothing more. But as the storm rages outside and the city lights blur in the distance, he can't help but wonder, what if fate doesn't forget? What if some things are meant to find their way back? And what if the person you've been searching for has been searching for you too, without even knowing it? The mansion gates open automatically. The girl stares up at the towering estate through the rain-streaked window. Her breath catches. This isn't a house. It's a fortress. Cold, marble, empty, just like him. He parks, kills the engine. The silence is deafening. Come on, he says quietly. Let's get you inside. She follows him through the grand entrance. Her wet shoes squeak on the polished floor. Everything echoes. The chandelier above them costs more than most people make in a lifetime. But it doesn't feel like wealth. It feels like a tomb. Pick any room on the second floor, he says, gesturing toward the spiral staircase. There's clothes in the guest wardrobes. Help yourself. I'll have food sent up. She nods, still silent, still guarded. But something in her eyes has softened. Just a little. Thank you. 2 words, but they land heavy. Because no one's thanked him for anything real in a very long time. She disappears up the stairs, and he stands alone in the foyer, staring at the space where she just was. His chest aches, not from illness, but from something deeper, something he thought he'd buried. He walks to his study, pours a drink, stares at the rain through the window. And for the first time in 15 years, the house doesn't feel quite so empty. But what he doesn't know yet, what neither of them know, is that the storm didn't bring them together by accident. And the girl sleeping upstairs isn't just a stranger he saved. So here's the question. What happens when the person you've been searching for your entire life has been right in front of you all along? And neither of you remembers. Here's what nobody tells you about second chances. They're terrifying. Because the moment you let someone in, the moment you allow yourself to hope again, you're handing them the power to destroy you. And for a man who spent 15 years building walls so high even God couldn't climb them, letting a stranger into his home isn't kindness. It's suicide. But he did it anyway. And now, as dawn breaks over the city and light spills through the windows of his mansion like liquid gold, he's about to discover that some decisions change everything. Some decisions unravel the carefully constructed lie you've been telling yourself, and some decisions bring back what you thought was lost forever, whether you're ready for it or not. 3 weeks pass like a dream he's afraid to wake from. The girl, the one he pulled from the storm, doesn't leave after one night. She stays, and slowly, impossibly, the mansion begins to feel like something other than a tomb. He hears her footsteps in the morning, the sound of running water, the creak of floorboards in rooms that have been silent for years. She's careful, quiet. She's afraid that if she makes too much noise, the dream will shatter and she'll wake up back in the rain. But she's there, real, solid. And every day, that pull in his chest grows stronger. He enrolls her in the university, top tier, the kind of school where tuition costs more than most people earn in a year. She protests at first, tells him it's too much, that she can't accept it, that she doesn't deserve it. But he sees the hunger in her eyes, the desperate, aching need to be more than what the world tried to make her. So he insists, and she accepts. And on her first day, when she comes down the stairs in new clothes with her hair pulled back and textbooks under her arm, he feels something he hasn't felt in 15 years. Pride. Not in himself, in someone else. The days develop a rhythm. He leaves early for the office, board meetings, acquisitions, the endless machinery of empire. She goes to class. They have dinner together. Nothing fancy. Just two people at opposite ends of a table that seats 20, sharing a meal and cautious conversation. She tells him about her professors, her classes, the way the library smells like old paper and possibility. He tells her about the business, about deals and contracts and the art of knowing when to strike and when to wait. They never talk about the past, about how she ended up in that storm, about why he stopped. It's an unspoken agreement, a fragile truce, because some questions, once asked, can't be unanswered. But the truth is, he's watching her, not in a creepy way, not like that. He's studying her, the way she tilts her head when she's thinking, the way she unconsciously hums when she's reading, the way she pushes food around her plate when she's nervous, and every little thing feels like déjà vu, like he's seen it before, in another life, in another time. But that's impossible, isn't it? One night she finds the photograph. He's working late in his study when he hears the knock. Soft, hesitant. He looks up from his laptop and she's standing in the doorway, holding a silver frame. His stomach drops. He knows what's in that frame. He's looked at it 1,000 times. 1,000,000, till the faces became blurry and the pain became background noise. Who are they? Her voice is quiet, not accusing, just curious. He gestures for her to come in. She sits in the leather chair across from his desk, still holding the photograph like it's made of glass. My family. She studies the image, a younger version of him. Still hard, still serious, but with something in his eyes that's gone now. Next to him, a woman. Beautiful. Dark hair, bright smile, and 2 children, a boy, maybe 8, and a little girl, no more than 5. Chubby cheeks, storm gray eyes, the same eyes that are staring at the photograph right now. What happened to them? He leans back in his chair, closes his eyes. The memory is always there, waiting, like a predator in tall grass. Car accident, 15 years ago. We were driving back from a vacation. It was raining, roads were bad. A truck lost control. We flipped, 3 times, maybe 4. I don't remember all of it, just fragments, screaming, metal tearing, glass everywhere. When I woke up in the hospital 2 weeks later, they told me my wife and son were gone. But there was another survivor. My daughter. She was 5. They said someone pulled her from the wreckage. But by the time I was conscious, she was gone. Disappeared. No record, no trace. Just gone. The words hang in the air like smoke. Heavy. Suffocating. She's staring at the photograph. At the little girl. Her hand is trembling. You never found her? No, I spent years looking. Hired investigators, offered rewards, checked every hospital, every orphanage, every foster home in the state. Nothing. It's like she vanished into thin air. Maybe. She pauses, swallows hard. Maybe she's still out there. Maybe she doesn't remember. Trauma can do that, especially to children. He opens his eyes, looks at her, really looks at her. And for a moment, just a fleeting, impossible moment, he sees it. The little girl in the photograph. Older, thinner, haunted, but the same eyes, the same tilt of the head, the same way of pushing hair behind her ear when she's nervous. No, he's seeing what he wants to see. Grief playing tricks, hope poisoning reality. Maybe, he says quietly, or maybe she's gone. Maybe some things stay lost. She sets the photograph down on his desk. Carefully, it's sacred. I'm sorry for your loss. No one should have to carry that. And no one should have to sleep in the rain. Their eyes meet. And something passes between them. Understanding, recognition, not of who they are, but of what they've survived. She stands, moves toward the door, then stops. Thank you for everything, for giving me a chance when no one else would. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. She leaves, and he sits alone in his study, staring at the photograph, at his daughter's face, at those storm-gray eyes, and he wonders, what if? What if the universe isn't cruel? What if it's just slow? What if it's been holding on to her all these years, waiting for the right moment to bring her back? He shakes his head, pours himself a drink, and tries to silence the hope that's screaming in his chest. Because hope is dangerous. Hope is the lie you tell yourself right before the world proves you wrong. But what if, just this once, hope is telling the truth? The weeks turn into something that almost resembles normal. She excels at school, top of her class. Her professors rave about her. Sharp mind, quick wit, natural leader. He attends her first presentation, sits in the back of the lecture hall and watches her command the room with a confidence she didn't have 3 weeks ago. And when she sees him there, when their eyes meet across the rows of students, she smiles, a real smile. The kind that reaches the eyes, the kind that says, I see you. I'm glad you're here. And he realizes something terrifying. He's not just helping her anymore. He cares about her grades, her happiness, her future. She's not a project. She's not charity. She's family, even if he can't explain why, even if it doesn't make sense. Then comes the night everything changes. It's late, past midnight. He's in his study, reviewing contracts when he hears the crash. Loud, glass shattering. He's on his feet instantly, hand moving to the desk drawer where he keeps a gun, but before he can reach it, he hears her scream. Not fear, pain. He's running, taking the stairs 3 at a time. His heart is jackhammering against his ribs. The guest room door is open, light spilling into the hallway. He bursts in and stops cold. She's on the floor, gasping, clutching her chest. Her face is pale, lips blue. The glass of water she was holding is shattered on the hardwood. Call an ambulance. He's on his knees beside her, checking her pulse. It's weak, erratic. Her eyes are rolling back. She's trying to say something, but the words won't come. Just gasps, just panic. Stay with me. Do you hear me? Stay with me. But she's fading, slipping away. And he's back there, 15 years ago, holding his wife's hand as the light left her eyes, watching his son take his last breath. He can't do this again. He won't survive it again. The ambulance arrives in 7 minutes. Feels like 7 hours. They load her onto a stretcher, hook her up to machines that beep and flash and measure the space between life and death. He rides with her, holds her hand, and prays to a God he stopped believing in a long time ago. Please, not her. Not now. I just found her. Don't take her away. The hospital is chaos, fluorescent lights, antiseptic smell, doctors barking orders. They wheel her into the... He tries to follow, but a nurse stops him. Sir, you need to wait here. That's my... He stops, because he doesn't know how to finish that sentence. What? My house guest? My charity case? My daughter? The nurse is waiting. He clears his throat. She's family. The nurse nods, points to the waiting room. And he sits, alone, surrounded by strangers living their own nightmares, and he waits. Minutes crawl by like hours. An hour feels like a lifetime. His mind is racing. What if she doesn't make it? What if he never gets the chance to ask her, to know for sure? What if... Mr. Vale. He looks up. A doctor, young, exhausted, scrub-stained with God knows what. How is she? Stable, for now. It was a cardiac episode. She's lucky you got her here when you did. Another few minutes and... The doctor doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. But there's something else. We need to do a blood transfusion. Her type is AB negative. Extremely rare. We don't have any in stock, and our regular donors aren't available at this hour. Do you know anyone who might match? AB negative. The rarest blood type. The same as his. The same as his daughter's. Test mine. The doctor blinks. Sir, the odds of you matching... Test mine. 10 minutes later, the doctor comes back. His face is different. Confused. Almost suspicious. You're a match. Perfect match, actually. That's unusual. Can we do the transfusion? Yes, but Mr. Vale, I need to ask, what's your relationship to this girl? Does it matter? It might, because a perfect blood match between two unrelated individuals is statistically improbable. And there's something else. When we ran her blood, it flagged in our system. An old file. From 15 years ago. A Jane Doe. Pulled from a car accident. Pediatric trauma case. The hospital tried to find next of kin, but the child disappeared before anyone could follow up. The blood sample we took that night has been sitting in our database ever since, and it matches hers. Exactly. The world stops. The noise of the hospital fades. The lights blur. Everything narrows to a single point. A single truth. What are you saying? The doctor hesitates. Then, I'm saying the girl in that room, the one you brought in tonight, is the same child from that accident 15 years ago. And if you're a perfect blood match, Mr. Vale, is there any possibility she could be related to you? He can't breathe, can't think. The room is spinning. But somewhere, through the shock and the disbelief and the impossible crushing weight of it all, a single thought breaks through. I found her. After 15 years. After giving up hope. After learning to live with the emptiness. I found her. She's my daughter. The words come out broken. Raw. The doctor's eyes widen. Are you certain? Yes, she was in that accident. She's the one who disappeared. It's her. It has to be. Mr. Vale, we'll need to run a DNA test to confirm, but do whatever you need to do. Just save her, please. The transfusion happens quickly. His blood, her veins. The most intimate connection two people can share. And as he sits there, watching the dark red liquid flow from him to her, he thinks about all the years he spent searching, all the dead ends, all the false hopes, and he wonders, was she out there the whole time, walking the same streets, breathing the same air, so close but invisible? How is that possible? Hours later, she's stable, sleeping, pale but breathing. He's allowed to see her. He sits beside her bed, takes her hand, and for the first time in 15 years, he lets himself cry. Not the angry, bitter tears he shed in the dark, but something else. Relief, gratitude, grief for all the years they lost, and joy, impossible, fragile joy for the years they might have. A nurse enters, hands him a manila envelope. The DNA results. Dr. Chen wanted you to have them right away. His hands shake as he opens it. Medical jargon, charts, numbers. And then, at the bottom, in bold black letters, probability of paternity. 99.9%. She's his daughter. The girl he pulled from the rain. The stranger he let into his home. The lost child he mourned for 15 years. She was right there. And he didn't know. Neither of them knew. But now what? How do you tell someone their entire life was a lie? That the woman who raised them wasn't their mother? That the father they never knew has been right here, aching for them, searching for them, grieving them? How do you rebuild something that was destroyed before it could even begin? He doesn't have answers. Just Questions. 1,000 questions. But as he sits there, holding her hand, watching her chest rise and fall, he makes a promise. To her, to himself, to the universe that brought them back together. He won't lose her again. Whatever it takes, whatever she needs, he'll be there. Not as the man who saved her, but as the father who's been waiting his whole life to come home. So here's the question that'll keep you up at night. What do you do when you discover the stranger you've been living with is the family you've been mourning? When the past and present collide in a hospital room at 3 in the morning? When everything you thought you knew about loss, about fate, about the impossibility of second chances turns out to be wrong? And here's the real question, the one that matters most. When she wakes up and you have to tell her the truth, that you're her father, that she's been lost for 15 years, that the life she remembers isn't the life she lived, will it bring you closer, or will it destroy the fragile bond you've built? Because sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes it just shows you how much you've lost. What's harder, losing someone you love, or finding them and having to explain why they were lost in the first place? That's the question haunting him as he sits beside her hospital bed, watching the early morning light creep across her face. She's still asleep, peaceful, unaware that when she opens her eyes, everything she thinks she knows about herself will shatter. The doctor said she'd wake soon, any minute now, and when she does, he'll have to tell her. He'll have to say the words that will either heal them both or tear apart the fragile family they've accidentally built. But here's the thing about truth. It doesn't care about your timing. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just arrives, loud, undeniable, and it demands to be heard. Her eyes flutter open, confused, disoriented. The fluorescent lights above her are too bright, the beeping machines too loud. She tries to sit up, but her body won't cooperate. That's when she sees him, sitting there, face drawn, eyes red. And something in his expression makes her heart skip. What happened? Her voice is hoarse, scratchy. He reaches for the water cup on the side table, helps her take a sip. His hands are steady, but barely. You collapsed. Cardiac episode. They brought you here. You're okay now. You're safe. She nods slowly, processing. Then her eyes drift to the IV in her arm, the bag of blood hanging beside her bed. Did I need a transfusion? Yes. Where did it come from? He swallows hard. This is it. The moment. The edge of the cliff. From me. Her brow furrows, confused. You? But how? Blood types don't just... They ran tests to make sure we were compatible, and we were. Perfect match, actually. She's staring at him now. Really staring. She's seeing him for the first time. That doesn't make sense. Perfect matches usually only happen between... She stops. The words die on her lips. Because she's smart, sharp, and she's already connecting the dots. He watches the realization wash over her face. Disbelief, shock, fear, hope, all of it colliding at once. No, that's impossible. I thought so too. The accident. The one you told me about. Your daughter, the one who disappeared. It was you. 3 words, but they carry the weight of 15 years. She's shaking her head, backing away as much as the hospital bed will allow. No, that can't be right. I would remember. I would know. You were 5 years old. The trauma, it can erase memories, especially in children. But the woman who raised me, Mrs. Abeni, she told me I was an orphan, that my parents died when I was a baby. His jaw tightens, anger flashing across his face. Not at her. At the woman who took her, who kept her, who let him suffer for 15 years thinking his daughter was gone forever. She lied. Or maybe she convinced herself it was true. I don't know. But the hospital records don't lie. The DNA test doesn't lie. You're my daughter. You're the child I've been searching for since the night everything fell apart. Tears are streaming down her face now. Silent, unstoppable. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I know this is overwhelming. I know it's too much, but it's true. And I need you to know, I never stopped looking for you, not for a single day. And now that I've found you, I'm not letting go. Not ever again." She's sobbing now, full body shaking. And he moves to her side, wraps his arms around her, and for the first time in 15 years, holds his daughter. She doesn't pull away, doesn't resist, just collapses into him like she's been carrying the weight of the world and finally found someone strong enough to help her bear it. "I'm so sorry I didn't remember. I'm sorry you were alone all those years." "Don't apologize. None of this is your fault. You were a child. You survived. That's all that matters." They stay like that for a long time, father and daughter, strangers becoming family, and slowly the pieces start to fit. The strange pull he felt that night in the rain, the sense of déjà vu, the way she moved through his house like she'd always belonged there. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't luck. It was something deeper, something written in blood and bone, and the stubborn refusal of the universe to let go of what's meant to be. 3 days later, they leave the hospital together, not as a billionaire and the girl he saved, but as father and daughter. The media doesn't know. The world doesn't know. And for now, that's how they want it. This moment belongs to them. No cameras, no questions, just two people learning how to be a family again. He takes her to the cemetery, to the graves of her mother and brother. She stands there, staring at the names carved in marble, and tries to feel something, a memory, a connection. But there's nothing. Just the wind and the sound of distant traffic and the ache of knowing she lost something she can't even remember having. "I wish I could remember them." "We'll remember them together. I'll tell you stories, show you pictures, and maybe, over time, some of it will come back, or maybe it won't. But either way, you're not alone anymore." She reaches for his hand, holds it tight. Neither are you. They drive back to the mansion. But it doesn't feel like a mansion anymore. It feels like home. She hangs new photos on the walls, pictures of them together. At dinner, at her graduation ceremony when she finishes her degree 2 years later. On the steps of the company headquarters when he names her vice president. Building a new history, a second chance neither of them thought they'd get. And on quiet nights, when the house is still and the city lights blur through the windows, they sit together in his study. She asks him about the business, about life, about all the years they lost. And he tells her everything, the grief, the guilt, the endless searching. And she listens, not with pity, but with understanding, because she knows what it's like to be lost, to feel like you don't belong anywhere, to wonder if you'll ever find your way home. But here's the beautiful truth about second chances. They don't erase the past. They redeem it. They take the broken pieces and build something new, something stronger. And on the night of her 25th birthday, when he hands her the wooden music box, the one that played the lullaby she used to hum without knowing why, and she winds it up and hears the melody and finally, impossibly, remembers, they both realize something profound. Some bonds can't be broken. Not by time, not by trauma, not by distance or grief or the cruelty of circumstance. Some bonds are written in the stars, and no matter how far you drift, no matter how lost you become, they'll always guide you back home. So here's my question for you, and I really want to know. Have you ever had a moment where everything you thought you knew turned out to be wrong? Where the universe surprised you in a way you never saw coming? Drop your story in the comments below. Because this channel isn't just about billionaires and dramatic twists. It's about the human moments, the connections that define us, the second chances that save us. And I want to hear yours. Also, if this story moved you, if it made you feel something real, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe, because next week we're diving into another story that'll make you question everything you think you know about fate, family, and the impossible power of never giving up. Until then, remember, some people are worth searching for, even if it takes a lifetime, even if the odds are impossible, because love doesn't forget, and neither does the heart.